Welcome to the message with Maleman on 1047 The Drop, Denver's urban alternative. I'm really excited about this conversation that we're about to have in light of the election. You know what I'm saying? Which I have to remind everybody, get out and vote. Put your ballots in. Your voice is important. It's powerful. No cap. Sitting with me today is an incredible leader in the community and someone who has an expansive and passionate vision for the city of Denver. And I'm a little nervous because not for the interview, but she might become district attorney, and I don't want no smoke. I just want to make sure I'm doing the right thing. Sitting with me today is Leora Joseph, candidate for district attorney. How you doing?
I'm doing great, and I'm really, really excited to be here today. A little nervous myself. There you go. So we're the same that way, and I'm excited to talk. But what you started by saying is so important. We have got to get out and vote. This is an election that is going to be decided on Tuesday. Whoever the next district attorney is being decided on Tuesday. Everyone, your ballots are in your house. They're on your kitchen table. They're in your mailbox. Right. Fill them out.
Get them in.
Get them in.
Expeditiously.
We make it so easy here in Colorado, right? We mail it to everybody. There's tons of drop boxes. Let's do it. Let's turn up the numbers.
Well, thank you for joining us anyway. Thank you for talking with us. I know campaign life and elections can be mad crazy. But I want to check in with you. Yeah. I want to see, how are you feeling mentally, emotionally? What's your vibe? How you feeling?
I'll be honest. I'm really excited. The whole process has been amazing. I have got to meet so many people here in Denver. And at every juncture, it's reminded me, this is the city.
Right.
This is a great city with great people, with great ideas. We're struggling now. I got to call it out. We're having some challenges. And that's why I'm running, though, because I have real solutions. But I'm feeling really excited. There are days that are definitely harder than others.
Right.
But right now, going into it with less than 5 days, not that I'm counting. Hours, how many hours are we at? I'm feeling pretty good.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
What does a day look like for you?
Yeah. So I can talk about life before the campaign and life during the campaign.
Let's talk about life before the campaign.
Before the campaign, I'm very blessed. I have a great life, and that's true now, and it's true before. I would begin my day. I start my days at 5, and
God.
And I would spend some time in the morning with gratitude, with reading. I try to move my body every single day. I'm not one of those amazing fitness people we have in our city.
Right.
I have to just be honest, but I go for a small jog or take an exercise class, and then I would work most of the day. Weekends were spent with family and friends. I love entertaining.
Right.
And we have a thing at home. Our house is always open to people to come have meals and celebrate together.
Nice.
And that's a big part of my life. And my faith also is a very, very big part of my life. So those are kind of how I would regulate my life. Now with the campaign, I still am working, but I've cut back my hours significantly in the last few months, for sure. And all the relaxing things, all the fun things have kind of moved to the side. So there's no small jogs in the morning, and there's no meditating, and there's no prayer, and there's no entertaining, and there's no family and friends. I've really put a lot of that on hold while I'm out doing the work of the campaign, which I love, though.
Right.
That's filling me and driving me in different ways, getting to talk to so many amazing people. Just today, right? This experience. Who could ever think? If my kids could see me now, I think they'd be really nervous that I was going to screw something up, but they would be really impressed that this is an experience I'm having.
And speaking of kids, I just had a newborn. Do you have any advice for a new dad?
Yes,
just throwing that out there.
This is the advice, trust your instincts, be there. I'm a big believer in, modeling how you want to be. And it's something that, for sure, when you have little kids like you do right now, just being present is so important. But I'll tell you this, my kids are all in their 20s now, and the hard work is now.
Facts.
Right? The hard work is now modeling how we have relationships, how we handle challenges, how we handle stress, how we handle the world around us, which can sometimes be really dark. These are the ways that we model for our children now. And so I'll say, I was blessed. My husband and I were blessed with 3 healthy kids, which is so important. Great kids, so great. And I find now the hardest time when with older kids who are amazing people, in and of themselves with their own ideas, and how we model for them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and also when they're sad. When you have a little baby and they're sad, we used to just give them a bottle. I wasn't big
That
on
nookie
schedules.
right there. Here
Right
you go.
there. Here's a bottle. Here's a cookie. You know, you can't do that when they're older.
Right.
And you have to find other ways to help them.
That's amazing advice. Thank you. I'm definitely going to internalize that and apply that to my life. So let's talk about, the campaign and becoming potentially district attorney.
Yeah.
Like, what positions in the past and what motivations and inspirations did you have that make you say, you know what, I'm the person for the job? Like you said, you have real solutions.
Yeah.
What are some of those things that made you think, like, you know what, put me in the game, coach?
So the inspiration, I'll start with that, has always been my faith and the obligation to fix the world, to repair the world. And that's something I've done my whole life. But I'll tell you, a few weeks ago, the campaign, we announced Senator Buckner's endorsement. And what she said to me is, she's endorsing me. She said, Leora, you've always been doing the hard work, and you're doing it now. And it meant so much for her to recognize that. And so I'll tell you a little bit about my career. For over 20 years, I've spent time in the district attorney's offices, both in Boston and in Arapahoe County.
Okay.
All my caseload was cases involving victims of sexual assault, specifically kids. That's really my area. My specialty is people who've abused children.
That's very important.
Domestic violence, and I started one of the country's first human trafficking units. So for 20 years, I've done that work and led teams doing that work and managed people in the DA's office and created change. That's been a huge part of my career. And now I work for Governor Polis. It's a brand new office. I have 1,800 employees and a $350 million budget. It's a brand new office that's focused on changing how our court system handle people with mental illness and drug addiction. And as I sit here today, I want to tell you two things. We have a mental health crisis in our city right now, and we have a mental illness to prison pipeline.
Right.
And we've got to break that. Jail is not the place to get treatment.
Facts.
And so the work I've been doing, which I'm so proud of, is getting people who are in jail who need treatment, getting them into treatment, and making sure they come out of this able to participate in society.
Yeah.
Sick people don't belong in jail. And that's the reality.
Yeah, that's facts. And that transition is like very, very important, like from jail back into public spaces. Like, that's very important.
We don't do a good job of it. I'll be honest with you. People get out of DOC with $100 and an RTD ticket.
And that's what I wanted to ask you. Like, what are some of the issues that you see as it stands right now with like public health and safety and like human dignity? Like, what are some of the issues that we're having right now?
So I would say I see two bubbling issues, which is really they're at crisis point. One, we have a massive problem with gun violence, gang violence, youth violence. Got to talk about it. Got to talk about it. We've got to handle those cases really seriously, hold people accountable when they commit serious felonies.
That's true.
We can't just give them a pass. And we need to work on the disruption. We need to work with local nonprofits, with experts in the field who know how to make sense of this. Help me understand. Why are so many young black boys dying? Why are we going to funerals of children? And how do we get a hold of it and fix it? So that's one problem we have. On the other spectrum, we have what I call this dysregulated behavior, low-level felonies and misdemeanors. A car gets smashed through, a building gets smashed through, people on the street suffering with a needle in their arm. All of that has also led to this feeling of being dysregulated and not being unsafe. And that is where my mental health experience, we can't ignore those people anymore, and we can't ignore those crimes. Ignoring crime is never the answer. It's like ignoring anything bad. Diabetes. You can't ignore it.
Exactly.
It doesn't get better. It doesn't go away. We need real solutions, and I have those. Bringing people who are committing those low-level misdemeanors, bringing them into court, not making them felons, but not just ignoring them. Having a judge, a family court judge, monitor their treatment, make sure we have a nurse in the courtroom, people who need their meds can get this. And these are models, by the way. I'm not just making this up.
No, I'm listening.
This exists in other cities across the country. Having a nurse right there in the courtroom. to get people the medications they need, to make sure they're following up in a therapeutic way, making sure we're all aligned on the safety spectrum. We all need to be at the table.
Yeah.
And this is the same theme when I talk about gun violence, gang violence, youth violence, bringing in experts, people like, I don't know if you know Jason McBride.
It sounds kind of familiar.
Yeah, he is very active in Struggle of Love, and he's endorsed my campaign. He's very involved in, and the day I met him, he had been to 2 funerals that day.
Damn.
We need people like that in the office to help me understand how we make sense of gun and gang violence.
Yeah.
And I need people in the office on the mental health piece, on the safety spectrum. We need to be talking to Denver Health. We need to be talking to places like the Solution Center and the AIDS Center, and coming together in court and saying, how do we offer all these wraparound services?
Right.
How do we do this better? Because what we're doing now is just not working.
Yeah, and I appreciate, you giving us some of your vision and some of the ways you plan on approaching some of these issues if you are elected. Do you have an overall vision of how you would like to see Denver if you are elected when it comes to these issues?
So first of all, we have to say when I'm elected.
Right. I ain't mad at that. I ain't mad at that.
Right.
I ain't mad at that.
So when I am elected, I think what you're really asking me is, how are we going to know if I've been successful?
Yeah.
I
That's
think
fair.
that's the question. What's the metric? There
That's
has
fair.
to be data.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say a few different things. One, we're not seeing recidivism. Recidivism, by definition, is people who've committed a crime, get some type of punishment, and then commit a crime again. What does that prove?
Right.
We weren't effective. We didn't have the right consequence there. They didn't get treatment. They weren't locked up, whatever it is. So we need to see recidivism drop. We need to see the mental health resources at the table and active in our safety system.
The whole process.
We've got to stop with the silos. This is my biggest complaint right now. You have the schools are over here on one side. You have the hospitals on the other. The DA's office in the middle. The police department over there. No.
Right.
Everybody, we got to row together in the same boat. We got to move together in the same boat and be talking all of the time. The silos have to stop.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's deep, and I appreciate it. I appreciate you sharing these ideas and these models, and good luck with everything in the campaign. Let's have a little fun though.
All right.
Let's have a little bit of fun, because this is a public media station.
Yes.
So, and it's a hip hop station.
I got it.
So, 2 questions.
Yeah.
What role do you think public media plays in the political world, and what role do you think hip hop plays in the political world?
To be honest, I actually think they play a similar role.
Okay.
We've got to support public media because people, it's a way to communicate. And from my perspective, what I've learned about hip hop over the years, it's not just a music, it's a whole culture of communication.
Talk your stuff. Talk your stuff.
Is that good? It is how we get messaging across to a whole generation. Admittedly, it's not my generation. Hip hop is its own thing. It can spread entrepreneurship. It can spread messaging about voting. It can spread messaging about power. It can spread messaging about how we change the system.
Right.
And so for me, hip hop is a form of media because it's ultimately a form of communication.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you have any favorite hip hop songs? Is there our favorite hip hop artists?
I am horrible in the music game, but what I do appreciate is, I think his name is Trev Rich.
Trev Rich, he's a local Colorado independent artist.
My point.
Yes,
it's amazing.
That's my
Someone
dog.
from Denver, and he was involved in the Spider-Man.
His movie.
So this is like a pretty amazing thing about Denver, and it's one of those things we really need to celebrate. Every time we can celebrate something good about Denver, we need to be doing that.
Right.
Because you know what? I'll say this. Too much the media focuses on all the bad things.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that, that has an effect on people's mental health. We got to talk positive. We have to honor people in our community who've made huge accomplishments. These are really good pieces of information. And that's a great role for hip hop, right? Spread the good news.
Yeah, that's an amazing artist right there. Shout out to my brother Trev Rich. Well, I appreciate you sitting with us and talking with us. I don't want to take up too much of your time because I know you got a lot of things going on. But I do want to know, is there any last words that you have for our listeners or for the voters out there? Like, what do you want to stick with them?
Today, I'm making a commitment to you and everybody in Denver. I'm here to make changes that are going to make community be safer, feel safer, and be more engaged in a justice system that works for everyone. I'm here to make the system safer for everyone. Get out that vote.
Your candidate for district attorney, Leora Joseph. Thank you so much. Again, get out there and vote. Stop playing. Stop messing around. Stop the cap. Put that ballot in there. Thank you again.
Thank you so much. Great being here.
Peace, y'all.